Howdy all Muglox lives. Alright. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. I was like, where in the world am I? But this is the Crack-a-Books place. Dude, I wonder if I shouldn't return home. Well, let's explore a little bit more here. Eventually I gotta get back home and try and work on some... This place is laid out different than I'm used to. Nice, nice. Beat that floor up. Eventually, though, I've got to get back and start putting some defenses in place because it is a Horde night. No, I'm pretty sure I've never seen the building look like this before. Why is there a... ladder here? This is weird. Lots of bookcases, though. Got some Rule 1 cardio. Got a lot of paper. Another water purifier. Purifier. I don't know. Burning shaft. I don't know, do you want zombies to catch on fire? I kind of want to see what that's like. Can I equip that to my club? I'm a little nervous. I'm not trusting of the flooring in here because the tried to get me because the other layout definitely had some trap type floors. What we got here? Charismatic nature. Some very angry zombies in the other room. Oh. Hi. Hey. What happened? I didn't know you could get stunned and have it stop your swing. I had 2 swings stop in the middle of the swing there because that guy hit me. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's alright. I probably should really head home and start getting some defenses put in place. I should have knocked that crap out of there so I could... Why are there so many zombies? They could ignore the fact I cleared this last time. So we did get to play some D&D last night. It went pretty good. It wasn't great. We reached a point where like the previous week. Jeez. Can't do it. The previous week, we had gone and confronted the head of the town which I'm not exactly sure what his title is because our DM is terrible at pronouncing things, and every time he says something, it's got a different spelling, different pronunciation, different set of words involved. And so I thought it was a Burgomeister, but he keeps pronouncing it differently. So sometimes it's a Burgomeister, sometimes it's a Baronmaster. I really have no idea what the dude's title is, so let's just call him Baron. So we confronted the Baron. Okay, I'm pretty sure I need to go north. Oh, you know what though? I should mark this building as books, just so I can find it later. And he's got this dude that works for him. In fact, there's some things right there I need to come back and search too. Who has a demon arm, and which is really weird because we're in this like Dracula style, you know, vampire storyline, and the town we're in is like has a list of crimes, and one of the crimes is even mentioning the vampire's name. And so which I think is stupid because the, like, just his first name, because the lake next to the town is Lake Zarovich, and the vampire that we're not allowed to name is Strahd von Zarovich. So your lake is already named after the vampire. Strahd is the part that throws it off. I mean, anyways, so we had to take this woman, and we were supposed to deliver her to this church for safety. And while we were gone, the demon-armed guy... Oh, it's weird that he has a demon-armed guy, because they're, like, really crazy about monsters and stuff, and then here we got this guy just wandering around with a demon arm. That seems weird. And so he's all, the demon arm guy, he wants the girl. He claims she's his sister. Which could have been true. I don't know. But he had taken her out of the safety of the sanctified church where she was being kept. And the vampire told us that we either went back and made sure she was safe, or he was going to raise the town. And so obviously I don't want the town destroyed, and so we went back and we went to the Baron's house, and I knocked on the door, and we told him we needed to speak to Isaac in regards to the woman. And so Isaac came down, and we talked with Isaac, and he refused to give her up. And I mean, I didn't even say he had to give her up. I just said she needed to be, you know, on the sacred grounds of the church, so that she'd be protected from the monsters, and that he could guard her from there. And then he decided that it was best to just keep her locked in his bedroom, which is a little weird. And so I told him that that wasn't going to work for us, and so he attacked, and so we killed him. And then the Baron saw that we had killed Isaac, who apparently was his adopted child, and we tried to explain to him what was going on, and he attacked, so we killed him. And then somehow or another we wound upstairs with their creepy kid, because, you know, the demon-armed adopted child wasn't creepy enough. And he had been trying to... Now, everybody's trapped, including us, in this land. It's surrounded by mist, and you can't get through the mist. And so, it turns out their other child is in the process of attempting to create a teleport. When I say child, they're adults. So their adult son is trying to teleport out of the area, but his teleport circle is broken. And so when he uses it, he kills people. And so he has not managed to perfect it yet. But he's already killed 2 people, sending them through. And then it turns out he's super evil and crazy, and he attacks us. So we killed him too. And and so then we that was last week. So I rather enjoyed the discussions and the conversations and the combat, which is my favorite part. And so this week we're past that. And so this week we were told to speak to this accountant named Vasily in regards to the town, because he is the official accountant and he might know enough about what's going on to keep the town running while they try to decide who's going to be their new Baron. And so we go to Vasily's house, and I hate this, and our DM does it all the time. He's the one who told us to go to Vasily's house. He's the one who told us to go there. It wasn't our plan. We didn't know the guy existed. He told us to go there. And so we go there, and there's nothing there. And I hate that. And he does it all the time, and it drives me crazy. So we get to Vasily's house, the door's locked. Like, okay, it's mid-morning. He wasn't at the Baron's house. He is the accountant for the city. He's supposed to run most of the city anyways. So he could be out on business. But then when one of the other guys in the group, he decided to look in the window to make sure Vasily wasn't home. And when he looked in the window, our DM described it as everything is covered in dust. And we're like, what? Because people talk about how he runs the town. What do you mean the rooms are covered in dust? And he's like, well, not like everything's really neat. It's just that there's a layer of dust over everything. Not like that other, abandoned house you were in where everything was under thick layers of dust. I'm like, yeah, but any amount of dust like that indicates that the house is abandoned. Maybe it was only for a short time, but clearly if everything in a room is neat and tidy but covered in a layer of dust, it makes no sense. He's either neat and tidy or he's a slob. And since the room is described both as neat and tidy and everything put away in its place and covered in a layer of dust, seems to indicate he doesn't live here or something's happened to him. And so we're not sure what to do with that information. And so we go and I forget. Eventually we found him at the bar at the inn in the middle of the day, because our DM has no concept of distance or time. So I don't mean like lunchtime. I mean like it was like 10 in the morning and he was at the bar drinking instead of out doing his job. I don't know. And so our DM, because there's only 3 of us, including the DM. So I'm playing 2 characters. The other guy, he didn't want to play 2 characters. So he's only playing 1 character, and then our DM is playing a character. And so our DM says his character would like to go to these 2 places that we so far have not gone to. One of them is a toy maker's, and the other one was the inn. And which, sure, we found Vasily there, but we didn't really need to talk to Vasily. We needed. I mean, other people could deal with Vasily. What we did find, though, before we did that, was we found a diary for the teleport son, and he detailed how he drove this girl they were trying to set him up with as, political marriage, had driven her insane. And so I thought that maybe they could use that in helping with their treatment. Maybe they could fix her, and or not, whatever. I don't care. She's an NPC. She's an NPC we'll probably never see. And so we go to her. We go to her house. We knock on the door. The butler answers the door. We tell the butler that we've brought information that the lady of the house, because I think the father's dead. I forget what information exactly we were given on it. So we told her, the butler, we'd like to see the lady of the house. We have information on her daughter that we've obtained from the Baron, and it may help in her treatment. And so the perfectly reasonable conversation to have, obviously the guy is going to want to let his mistress know that we're there and that we have this information, and instead we get, do you have an appointment? Well, no, we don't have an appointment. We don't even know these people. We're just trying to deliver some information that may help in the treatment of her daughter. Did you not just hear what we said? So we had to argue. I think somebody threatened to break the door down if they didn't go get the mistress, because he was refusing to alert anyone that we were there. And then when she comes to the door, she also refuses to open the door until we go into great detail about what was in the book that we had. And which is bizarre, because it's not like we went to someone's house. This is like one of the noblemen, and they knew who we were because of the things that we had done so far. And it actually sent us a letter that they would like us to work for them. And so it was very bizarre to me that they were refusing to let us in. Okay, I've got to figure out. It's over on this side, right? Oh. You see that? I don't like that. Let's get some spikes down in front of that. Oh, look, there's a whole bunch of that here. That might be from the inside, though. Because I know this area needs to be good and spiked up, because this is where the zombibbles try to get into my house. And so we were already in an NPC spiral that I wasn't enjoying. And so then he's like, well, my character would really like to go see this toy maker. And I'm like, well, we don't really have any reason to see the toy maker, right? He's like, well, he makes weird toys. And I'm like, sure, he makes weird toys, but there's not anything, there's not anything wrong with making weird toys. I don't see the issue. Like, had there been a clue of some kind that bad things were happening because of his toys, I could completely get behind going to see him, right? But there's never any clue. There's just the DM wants us to go there. And a lot of times it's just so he can hear himself talk, I feel. And so we go to the toy maker. There's nothing to see here. Move along. I think we got a quest, but it's a quest that we can only do once we enter Strahd's castle. So somewhere in Strahd's castle is an item this guy wants. And I'm like, are we gonna be moving in and out of Strahd's castle a lot? Like, I don't know how this is gonna work. Strahd's clearly, like, meta being outside information, I meta know that Strahd is the bad guy. My character has only had one run-in with Strahd so far, and it was go rescue this girl or I'm going to have to do something about it and I'm not going to leave the town standing. And as a Vengeance Paladin, I completely understand that sentiment. And use it to actually use that sentiment to justify some of the things that I've done so far. Not I'm going to level this town if you don't do something about it, but I cannot allow the tyranny that is happening to continue. I just can't. It is against my paladin's oath, and so we did kill the Baron, partially because of my paladin's oath, because he was tyrannical and arresting people for speaking in the streets and arresting people for not participating in his festivals and stuff like that. And so, but so far Strahd hasn't done anything in our presence. And we were told that he was evil, but we were told by a ghost and a crazy angel. So I'm not I'm not really putting a lot of oh, ouch. Ouch. I'm not putting a lot of man, I want to get down in here, but I don't have a way to actually get down in here. And so we keep pointing out to our DM, like constantly pointing out to him, dude, you have yet to give us a reason. We have no reason to do any of this stuff that you want us to do. But he's the bad guy. I'm like, yeah, we know he's the bad guy, but our characters don't know he's the bad guy. But I mean, it's called the Curse of Strahd. Like, we know it's called the Curse of Strahd. We've seen Strahd one time. People keep talking about how Strahd attacks them, how Strahd does this, how Strahd does that. Strahd has never done any of that. Like, we've never seen... I've got to go get some metal. I didn't realize how low I was. I don't have any iron to fix my club with, and my club is about to break. And that is not the right motorcycle. I have to run into town here real quick and get some metal. And so yeah, so we go, like I said, we see the toy man. He's got a lot of rhymes. He's using this book, and he's got a lot of rhymes. Our DM is using a different guide than the official book, and so it's got all this stuff about how the characters are supposed to act and ways to change the campaign to make it more difficult and stuff like that. And so, man, I need some metal in here somewhere. There's some right there. There's some right there I'm driving on. And so, oh, right there's a car back there too. Should be perfect. And so it can get annoying sometimes with the guide because it doesn't make any sense sometimes. And so we oh, Dang it! Why didn't you howl before I started taking damage? I thought it was a vulture. I wonder if I got any gas in this motorcycle. Oh crap. I forgot to reset my bedroll. This is gonna suck. Oh man, it's so far to home. Ugh. So, anyways, I guess it's a good thing I went back and started laying down traps, because I am never gonna lay down any traps at this rate. So I had to listen to him go through all the rhymes and the poems that the dude says, and then the other guy who plays with us, what does he play? He plays the archer. So the archer, he asked a few questions about nothing in particular. You know, I think it'd be faster if I just run. And and then the DM's like, so you got any questions? I'm like, no, I don't have any questions for this guy. I didn't want to come here in the first place. That was you. What questions do you have for him? Well, I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to come here so we could talk about the place. I'm like, so no, we don't really have anything here. And then he's like, oh, well, you guys, it seems like he wants to say something, but he's not sure he should talk to you. So the other guy, he rolls and persuades him to talk to us, and that's when he's like, I want you to find this thing in the castle. And so then we go to the inn, and the accountant's there, and so we tell him that he needs to go to the church, because that's where we've been sending everyone since you know, things are about to be thrown into chaos thanks to us. And so then he's got quest for us too, and his quest is to find this woman who went missing. Now the trick is that we had actually just come from the area he said she went missing. We had just come from there, and so our DM was like, "Oh, well, you weren't paying attention. You weren't looking for her, so you didn't see her." I'm like, "Okay, fine, whatever." And I wish he had. I get that sometimes the books are written so that you can't. You don't know how the story's supposed to go unless you read through the whole book, but he only reads tiny sections of the book and the tiny sections of his guide, and so then if we don't do anything that's in those tiny sections, then he calls our games early. And so that's one of those parts where he should have written down in his notes that along that road was signs of a struggle and a overturned wagon and dead bodies just off the road. But he didn't, because he didn't look through. I mean, and we've been to that town. We were in the town where that guy gave the quest, so he didn't even read the information for the town that we were in. And which is crazy to me. But yeah, so we got there, we found the dead body. There wasn't anything we could really do. We asked about. Oh, you know, I got two more little things to tell. The tracks didn't lead anywhere. Did we even try to follow the tracks? I don't think we did. And so he gave us a magic item, which was plate armor that shoots lightning bolts. Now the problem is that anyone who uses plate armor is probably going to be an up-close person. And so having it shoot lightning bolt sounds cool, but I can do up to 6d8 damage with my sword. 6 6 8-sided dice, depending on what we're fighting. And the lightning bolt, and I get to attack twice, so I could do that twice. But the lightning bolt does 3d6 damage for my whole turn. So 3d6 is not as good as 68. So I'm not sure how or when I will use the lightning. I mean, I guess we might run into something that's flying in the air. I can't attack because he does like to do crap like that, which super annoys me. Stuff doesn't fight. Stuff hides. Stuff goes in the ground. Stuff flies away, so that we can't fight it, because if we fight it, we get XP, and if we get XP, we go up levels and get new abilities, and he doesn't want us to go up levels and get new abilities. And and actually, I think he's gimped us at this point, because we started out XP, and then he switched to milestone, and then he switched us back to XP, but he didn't consider how much XP we gained during the milestone sections. So anyways, so yeah, so it's gonna be weird to have armor that shoots lightning. But the other thing I want to talk about was there's this NPC who's supposed to be our companion, and we got her, and he wouldn't let her come into the town with us. And so she stayed outside of town while we went into town. And then when we left town, we picked her up, and then he's like, I don't know, somewhere in there we mentioned something, and then he's like, oh, she perks up at that. She realizes that the one person in town could be her missing master. And I'm like, ugh. And he's like, oh yeah, she thinks it might be her missing master. I'm like, seriously, dude, we just spent over a session between the two nights in that town. You wouldn't let her come with us, and now you want us to go back so that we can deal with her stuff, the NPC stuff? Well, no, I guess you don't have to. We'll just say you did it then if you don't want to play it out. I'm like, I don't want to play it out. I already been in there. I tried to get her to come with us, but you wouldn't let her. Because suddenly, even though there were Vistani in the town when we were there before, you're like, oh, Vistani aren't allowed in this town. But we brought a Vistani child from one end of that town to the other, and no one said anything. Other than they wouldn't help because it was a Vistani child, but they didn't tell us they weren't allowed in town. Well, I mean, you had to get that they weren't wanted. I'm like, not wanted is different than not allowed. So yeah, so we did not, we didn't have to play it out, which is good. It's not loaded. It's loaded. Bad doggy. Bad knife. And, yeah. So, I'm, how much metal did I get so far? 22. Is that enough to fix my club? Because that's all I really want to do. It is, because... Nice. Alright. So it looks like I am going to head back home then. And call it a day. But yeah, so it was a okay session, even if there's a lot of stuff going down that I'm not a fan of. I do really, really miss my other characters, and I am not enjoying being a paladin. I'm gonna play it out because, I mean, that's what I've been playing for almost 6 levels now. But yeah, paladin is definitely not my kind of character. I've never played one before, but it does not excite me. I think I should have tried an Eldritch Knight fighter with spells instead of this paladin. Alright, well, with that, click like if you like, subscribe to catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.